Hi, my name is Susan Karczewski. I'm a published jewelry designer and the owner of Perfectly Unique Design Studio and Boutique in Pierceton, Indiana, and I'm also a featured artist on JewelryLessonVideos.com. Now, I'm going to teach you today how to make a wire-wrapped multi-stone necklace, so let's get started. For this project, you will need a roll of 1/4 inch painter's tape, a black marking pen, a measuring tape, 2 pieces of 9-inch chain, a roll of 20 gauge round wire, an alcohol swab, 2 25 by 18 cabochon stones, 1 40 by 30 cabochon stone, 4 6mm jump rings, 1 lobster claw clasp, 1 fine awl, 1 pair of needle nose pliers, and a pair of wire cutters. To begin, we're going to take our 3 pieces of 30-inch round wire, and I'm going to bend it in half. Once you get the wire bent in half, we're going to take one of the wires and just pull it out, and we're going to wrap it around the center 2 times. 1, 2. And this is where we're going to start wrapping on our 30 by 40 millimeter cabochon. So we're going to take our marking pen and we're going to mark the center of each approximate side of the stone. So I have these 4 black marks here. We're going to use these black marks to put our anchors in the wire, and that will begin to make the cage around the stone. So to start, we're going to take our stone. We'll have 3 pieces of wire on each side. We're going to work on one side at a time. So to start, the middle wire will simply go around the stone. So we're going to put that around the side of the stone and just leave it there. I'm going to take one on the top and make kind of like a little round 1/4 inch arc and hold this one in the center here, like this, and then bring the one around the back. So it should look like this. If you can see that. And then I'm going to make a twist of all the wires at the top here, just a little twist. And at that point, before I do any more, I want to put the stone down, take my painter's tape and lift that up. And that's okay that it's up because we're going to tape it at this point. We're going to take off a piece of 1/4 inch painter's tape, maybe about 4 inches. We're going to set the stone back into our cage that we started. And we're going to tape the stone right like this above here. So that it will not move, like that. And then we're going to work on the other side here so that we can begin to get the stone into this cage that we're making. So we have our other 3 wires on this side, and on this side we're going to start with this 1/4 inch little half moon on the front. And the same thing on the back. And then we have 1 wire that just goes around to the center. We want to get to this black mark here. So we'll get to that mark and we're going to do a twist. 1 twist with all the wires, just like that. After you make the twist, we're going to line these 3 wires up so we can make another part of our cage at the top of the stone here. And we take this one around the outside of the stone, and then one around the back. And these are again about a 1/4 inch into the stone, kind of like a half moon shape. So we get to the black dot here that we've made, and we want to make another twist. So we're going to move the other wire out of the way here and just use the 3 that we have and make one complete twist. We're getting our stone in, but now we need to move the tape. So we're almost there. So we keep our hand over here on this side, and we can use our fine awl to find where we started the tape. We lift the tape up. While we hold this side, the stone is not in, so you have to be very careful. So now we've got it 3/4 of the way in. I'm going to do this last part. Bring one up here in the front. Push these out of the way here. One along the side of the stone, just to make it stronger. One goes all the way around the stone for support, and then we have one going around the back again, like we said, in a half moon. And kind of tweak it, make sure you're on the black dots as much as possible. And it might move slightly. You want to just adjust right now and get it there where you think you're in the middle. And then we're going to take these and wrap it around the twist that we already did. Okay. So now we have most of our stone in. So we want to fine tune this now. We're going to take our pliers and pull these little moons over to the center so that we know that our stone is completely in. And I call this a jag. It's a little right turn that I do that kind of looks nice, and it also completes the strength of the wire to hold in the back. So I'm just making these little half turns with my needle nose pliers to the right, and it makes a little design there. And you can either leave the front like that, or you can take your pliers and just kind of push it in. You want to have a kind of a light touch on the stone so you don't mark it up. And then you can also take your pliers and push this little start as close to the black dot as you can if you get off. So I've gotten off just slightly, so I'm going to move it over a little bit more. And then kind of adjust this. And again, if you want to make the jags, these I call jags, my little marks on the front, we're just going to wait on that and see what we do at the end if I want to put those in or not. So we're going to leave it round for now. But the stone's in. We're going to take 2 of the wires on this side and twist them together and bring it down to the center of this side here on the stone. So we're going to start by just taking your fingers and make a little twist. You can either keep using your fingers or you can use your pliers. To do that, you will just simply make little small half turns with your needle nose pliers. And this makes a nice twist. Just keep making little 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch turns with your needle nose pliers with the 2 wires, and you will eventually get a nice twisted wire. A lot of people go out and buy fancy tools to twist wire, but I think you can just do the same thing with your ordinary everyday needle nose pliers. Just have to be patient and keep doing the same rotation. We're getting there. I'd say a few more twists and we'll be where we want to be. I'm going to take one of these and just tuck it back behind here. Pull it through. So we have a little arc here on top. Then we're going to take the other wire from the back and just make a little twist here again. One complete twist. There we go. So we're going to do the same thing now on the other side of the stone. We're going to take these two wires here and make a twist that will go down to the center of the opposite side of the stone. So again, I'm going to start with my fingers and just make a little twist here. If you need to use your needle nose pliers for this part, you can. And we're going to take our pliers and just do little half turns. Okay, let's get that. You can also use your fingers, but really the pliers make it very nice and even. Just make sure these two are separate. As you can see, I'm just doing little half turns on the wire. Now we're going to measure, and I'd say I've got just a little bit more to go again. Up. Make sure you go the same direction. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so again, we're going to take one of these two wires underneath here where we've done our wire wrapping before. Pull it. Take these two together here and make one complete twist. Actually, it seems like two, but it's once around and then again, so that's a whole circle with the wire. There we go. And these two at the top, I'm going to teach you how to make a coil. We're going to cut the wire about 1 1/4 inch from the anchor over here at the center. So you're going to cut off the wire. We don't want it real long to make coils. And to make a coil, you're going to take your needle nose pliers and make a little loop like that. And then to make a nice coil, you just roll up the wire with little half turns with your pliers. Just hold the pliers horizontal to the wire, grab the center, and just make little half turns. Get to the center, stop. Same thing with this wire. Going to make our little loop to start. And then we're going to make little half turns, rolling the wire horizontally up the wire. That makes a nice coil. Nice decorated design. And then I put a little jag right here just to kind of accent and break up that wire. Okay, so now we have the pendant completely in and we have our decorative design at the bottom, but this will eventually be the top of the pendant Now we're going to bring in our second stone. I'm using tree jasper, and this is the stone that's 25 by 18. And we're going to bring in 2 pieces of our 12-inch wire that we cut, and we're going to add it on to this side here. Find the center, and we're going to twist this on. Okay, got it on. And we should have 3 pieces of wire on each side to go around the stone like we did before. You have 3 on each side. And now it gets kind of difficult because this is a smaller stone. And I recommend taking your tape for this part, and we're going to tape the stone to the cabochon just to start, because you're working with a small area. You have to make very small right angles. So we're going to cut off a piece of tape approximately 4 inches. Start at the back of the stone so you have a little more support. And we're going to go like that. Line it up and just tape it. It doesn't give you a lot of stability, but it gives you something there. Tape is good because we're working with a small area now. We're going to take our 1 piece that goes around the stone to stabilize everything and for support. We're going to make our little right turn here about halfway, and we're going to mark with our marker about halfway there. And we have the tape on, but I will mark when I get done the top, when I take the tape off. So we're going to make a black mark in the center of the sides. So now we have our stone. Take a quarter of the stone, go to the center here, take all 3 wires, and we're going to make a little twist here. You don't want to make a real twist far away from the stone. You want to stay close to the stone when you make your twist. Okay, we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. We've got 1 in the back, 1 in the front that we make a little quarter moon. Meet them up. And then take this one in the middle. And we're going to make a twist. Okay, now it's kind of loose, so what I would recommend is still holding on to the stone here. I'm going to take the tape off. You can use our fine awl here. Take the tape off the back. And now we're only going to go halfway down with this tape and bring it to one side here. Kind of bend it over and go around so we get this in. And we're going to work up here now. So if you can see how I did that, we're just holding these wires in place that we did before. And this will take some practice, this pattern, to get used to the wire. I recommend you try my quick wrap video on the web, and you will learn how to do this before you start this project if you'd like. So now we're going to the top. We have that one that goes around the side of the stone. We make our half moon on the top and the bottom, come up together, and we'll make a twist. So, kind of like that. Just make a twist. So we're getting this side up, the half moon on this side, the one that goes in the middle. We put them all up to the top. And once you get them all there, you want to stay close to the stone and make one complete twist so that they're all anchored in there. You may have to open this up again when you make your twist. That's why we use this fine awl, to get this one back over the side, this one back over the front. There we go. And just make sure that your twist is really good, so none of the wires are going to come loose. At this point, you want to make sure that you have your stone in. So you're going to turn it over and get that top part of the stone in by pulling the wires to the center, getting this positioned over the top of the stone to place where you think that the stone is really in place. There we go. Before we take off our tape. So now I think I've got this top in. I'm going to pull this tape off so that I can get the rest of the bottom part of the stone in for sure. But the tape is very useful. Now we're going to put this side in, make sure that's along the side, and then we're going to bring our bottom in here. And if you want to make decorative jags, again, it's a right turn, and it also just helps tighten up that wire. So we have everything completely in. I see this one has to go a little bit over, so we can just push that to the center so we get all our wires over the stone. And you can tweak this at the end and make sure it's the way you want it to look. So now we're at the end here, and we're going to cut 2 of these off to make coils, and this other 2 in the center will become a loop so that we can add our chain. So let's do that next. We're going to bend this forward, take our thumb and just put it over our first finger and make a little loop with 2 of the wires. Move this out of the way, bring this back up. You don't want a very large loop, probably the size of a pencil eraser. And then bring these 2 around the back, and then we're going to cut those off and tuck the wire in. So I'm going to take our wire cutters and cut the wire right here. Just leave about 1/8 of an inch out. And we're going to take that back around to the back. When I say tuck in, I mean you're going to press these wires down, tuck them all the way around here so you do not feel anything. When you put your finger here, you should not feel any rough edges. So it's tucked in really nice there. We can make our twist a little neater. So there's our loop. Now we have these 4 pieces of wire here that we will use for a decorative coil on each side. I'm going to cut off again about 1 1/4 inches. We're going to start here, make our little half turn. We're going to roll up the wire, little half turns with the pliers. Turn it over this way. Make your loop. Half turns, rolling up the wire. That's what makes a nice coil. Make your loop again at the beginning, just using the tip of your pliers. Little half turns. And I'm strategically putting them where I like, kind of pressing them down flat. We have one side of the pendant done. Now we're going to take our last two pieces of 12 inches of wire and we're going to bring in our other stone and we're going to again add the wire on in the center here, so you kind of get your center. Bend it in half. You can either mark it or just use your judgment. I'll put a little mark here and wire that on. Take it and twist it around on both sides and it's nice and tight. Okay. Now we again have our three pieces that we will use on each side of the stone. So we're going to bring our stone in. We're going to get tape like we did on the other side. Cut off about 4 inches. Tape the back of the stone here about halfway up. And then we're going to bring this down along here just to get some support. Make our marks on each side of the center of the sides of the stone. So now we're making our half moon on the top and on the back. The one goes up the side for support and we're going to make a twist of all three wires here. Completely around, so it should look like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side now. We're going to go make a little half moon to the line here. Same thing with the back. Bring it around, kind of use your finger to make like a half moon here. Meet up with the center one. Kind of start that and then bring the other two and you just make a twist. There we go. That looks nice. What I'm going to do now, since we have to find the middle, is I think I'm going to take off the tape like I did before on the other part right here. We can take our fine awl, take the tape off, go down to make a right angle with it, and bring it around the back on one side. That gives it some stability. You can take your marker and we'll mark the top here, the center. We're going to do the same thing. Bring this around halfway in the front, halfway in the back to the center. Bring our one in the middle up. And we get those nice and tight and kind of twist right by the wire there. Bring the other ones up on the other side. One in the middle, one in the back. And then we're going to twist all of them together like we did on the earlier video. So get them lined up. and just make one nice twist here. There we go. Get all of them in there. Okay, so now we go to the top here. We're going to bring this side over the front, this side over the back, like we did before. You can push this a little closer if you want. We have to take off our tape. Getting it in on all sides here. We can take the tape off. Okay. And you still want to tweak this so that it looks nice. You can make your jags in the back, your little right turns if you'd like, just to make sure it's completely in and tight. You can go back, since we're at the end of the piece here almost, just make sure everything looks really nice in the back and is tight in. That looks good. So we're going to take 2 down now of the wires that are left. We're going to make our bail here with 2 that are closest to the center. Again, you take your thumb to start, bend it forward, take your index finger, bend it slightly around your index finger, bring it around to about the size of an eraser. You can look at your other loop and make sure it's about the same size. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller, bring those 2 around. I have strong hands. If you want to use your pliers for these steps, you can. I use my hands a lot, where you could also use your pliers right here to bring this around. You can use your pliers where I've used my hands to twist. You can also use your pliers there too. We're going to cut off about 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to wrap these around. I call tucking your wire in, so that you don't feel any rough edges and it's nice and finished. Okay. Now we have our other 4 wires left. Again, you're going to take your pliers and cut off 1 1/4 inch approximately to make our coils. Start with our loop. At the end of your needle nose pliers, make a loop. And then you're going to again roll up the wire, little half turns. We're going to put it where we want it, there, just below the other one. Turn it around. Make our half loop. Roll up the wire. When you make your coils, the slower you go, the nicer they look. So you don't want to rush. Just want to do your half turns. Set it where you like, and then start the other one here, the last one. Again, when you get them where you want them, I like to press them down so they're flat. Make sure our loop looks nice and round. You can use your pliers to shape it. You can also take your pliers like this and shape your loops. Get it nice and round. I'm going to tilt these up just a little to make a nice statement look. Nice pendant that flows. And now we're going to add our chain. So we're bringing in our 2 pieces of 9-inch chain. You can make the chain whatever length you like. Take our jump ring in. To open the jump ring, take your pliers and your hand, or another pair of pliers if you'd like, but I use my hand, and go side to side. Attach it onto the loop. We'll take our chain, put it on, and then again, holding it with your other hand, just go back side to side to where you started. And kind of just close it, make sure it's nice and together. So we have 1 chain on. Take our other loop, open it side to side. We'll take our chain and add it on, put it onto the loop, and we'll close it. Make sure it's tight. Now we're going to take the end of the chain and add on a jump ring here on one side. Again, we opened it and we'll shut it here and close it. And then we're going to take another jump ring on the other side. We're going to add on our lobster clasp and then close it. Make sure it's nice and tight. And these will clip together like this, and you have your necklace now. And it would be approximately 18 inches with the chain and 4 inches of pendant, so it'd be about 22 inches. Now we're going to take the alcohol swab and clean off any of our black marks we made with the marking pen. If you'd like to use another color, I can show you how we have made the same necklace in silver. There's the same necklace design. I used picture jasper and a silver chain. I hope you enjoyed my jewelry lesson today, and you can go to JewelryLessonVideos.com for more tutorials on fabulous jewelry lessons. Thank you again.